Welcome! Today, we are diving into one of the most amazing, fast-paced, and absolutely critical periods of human growth, the toddler years. We're going to be looking at that incredible journey from 12 to 24 months. That whirlwind time when a baby really transforms into a walking, talking, exploring little person. And isn't that just the truth? I mean, one minute they're just crawling around, and you blink, and suddenly they're running. This quote from Dr. Yadav, it just perfectly captures that feeling, right? That mix of excitement and, let's be honest, a little bit of, whoa, can we slow this down just a tiny bit? It's a time of nonstop change, and it is completely normal to feel both thrilled and maybe a little overwhelmed.
So why is this period so incredibly important? Well, we're calling it the Great Transformation for a reason. What happens in these 12 months is truly foundational. Think of it like this. The connections being built in their brain right now are setting the stage for all their future learning, their behavior, and their personality.
Yeah, this is so much more than just a kid getting bigger. What you're looking at is a period of explosive brain development. Every new experience, every little interaction is literally building the architecture of their brain. It's creating the pathways for everything from speaking their first words to solving their first puzzles. Okay, so what does this great transformation actually look like day to day? Let's break it down into a timeline, a year of incredible firsts. This will help you see the whole journey, step by step. We can kind of split this year into 4 awesome phases of discovery. It all kicks off with the explorer when they first get up on their own 2 feet. Then, pretty quickly, they become the confident walker, totally mastering movement. From there, they morph into the communicator, really finding their voice, before finally becoming the problem solver, as their amazing little minds start connecting the dots about the world around them.
All right, let's start with the explorer from 12 to 15 months. This is it. This is the age of those first wobbly, amazing, independent steps. They might say a word or two, like mama or dada, and they're starting to point at things they want, which shows you they're really starting to understand. They are officially shifting from being a passive little baby to an active participant in their world.
Next up, between 15 and 18 months, that walk gets way more confident. And suddenly, they're not just walking, they're climbing. Their vocabulary is growing fast, and they're starting to imitate everything you do, whether it's clapping your hands or pretending to talk on the phone. Their curiosity at this stage, it is absolutely off the charts.
And then we have the communicator phase from 18 to 21 months. That confident walk turns into this charming, kind of unsteady run. They're also working on those fine motor skills, like stacking a few blocks, and their language is getting more complex. Now they're using a mix of words and gestures to tell you exactly what they want, and oh boy, their emotions, from total frustration to pure joy, are on full display for everyone to see.
Finally, as they get closer to age 2, they become the problem solver. Their running is steadier, and their vocabulary just explodes. We're talking 50 words or even more. And here's the big one. We see this huge cognitive leap as they start combining words into little phrases like more milk. This is also when pretend play starts, like feeding a doll, which is a sure sign of a developing imagination.
Okay, so now that we've gone through the timeline, let's kind of zoom out and look at the 4 main areas of growth where all these milestones fit. This really helps make sense of everything you're seeing happen at once.
First up, motor development. This is all about movement. From those first steps to climbing on the furniture, pulling toys around, and scribbling with crayons, toddlers are just driven to move and explore. Their bodies are learning how to navigate the world, and every single action is building their coordination and strength. And, with all this incredible new mobility comes a super important job for us parents. As toddlers start to climb and get into absolutely everything, childproofing becomes, essential. Covering outlets, gating the stairs, it's all about creating a safe space for their curiosity to really flourish.
The growth in language during this 1 year is just mind-blowing.
Seriously, toddlers go from speaking maybe 1 or 2 single words to dozens, and even stringing them together into phrases. It's a total explosion of communication in just 12 months. It's amazing.
Of course, there is so much happening on the inside too. Socially and emotionally, toddlers are developing their own little personalities. They form these really strong attachments. They start expressing very clear preferences, yes to bananas, absolutely not to peas, and they're learning how to navigate those huge, intense emotions with your help.
And finally, there's cognitive development.
Toddlers are basically tiny scientists. Their job is to learn about the world, and they do it by touching, tasting, and testing everything. They imitate what you do. They recognize the people they love, and they start solving simple problems, like figuring out how to get that square block into the square hole. Play is truly their work. Now, all of these milestones bring us to one of the biggest questions that parents have. Is my child on track? It is so easy to compare your kid to others, but it is so important to remember that every child develops at their own unique pace. This quote right here, it says everything. Development is not a race. The key isn't about hitting every single milestone on a specific day. It's about seeing that general forward momentum, a progression of skills over time. Some kids walk early and talk late, others do the complete opposite. Progress is the real goal. Okay, let's just tackle one of the most common worries head on. Are those epic, floor-pounding meltdowns in the middle of the grocery store aisle, are they actually normal? The answer is a very clear, very resounding yes. A toddler's emotions are huge, but their ability to control them and communicate what they need is still tiny. So tantrums are simply what happens when those two things clash. They are a perfectly normal, even if they're a very challenging, part of growing up. Now, while all this variation is normal, there are a few things just to keep an eye on. If your child isn't walking by about 18 months, or shows very little interest in interacting with you, or maybe seems to have lost skills they used to have, it's always a good idea to just have a chat with your doctor. This isn't about being alarmed, it's just about being proactive. And this quote really highlights how important that is for language. If a child isn't using any meaningful words by that 16 to 18 month mark, a quick check-in is a good idea. Why? Because early support, if it's needed, can make a world of difference. So knowing all of this, what's your role in this incredible journey? Well, the fantastic news is that the most powerful things you can do are often the simplest. You can support them in 5 really simple but powerful ways. Talk to them all the time. Just narrate your day, read simple books. Encourage lots of active play and exploration. Give them simple, safe toys that get them thinking. Try to maintain routines, which helps them feel secure. And maybe most important of all, respond warmly to all of their emotions, the good and the bad. Your connection with them is their foundation. And that brings us to the end. This entire year is just a whirlwind of discovery, not just for them, but for you watching them grow. So it really just leaves us with one exciting question to think about. What new discovery, big or small, is your toddler going to make today?